Hey YouTube, my name is Gawd, and you're watching Gawd Cafe. Today's video is on Venus in the 4th house. So if you have Venus in the 4th house, buckle your seatbelt to whatever you gotta do. Get your coffee ready, get your blunts ready, get your drinks ready, because we're gonna get into this placement. So Venus in the 4th house. So those of you that don't know about the 4th house is ruled by Cancer, okay, which is ruling over the home environment, the inner home, as well as the exterior home, like the home in which you live in, but also, like I said, the inner home, how, the home that you feel within, and not a lot of people don't have access to that feeling. So we'll dive into that. So Venus here loves the home environment, and more so its comforts, because it's Cancer, right? So Cancer, it needs to be emotionally tended to. So Venus here loves to be emotionally tended to and catered to. But it's not a one-way street when it pertains to Cancer energy. Cancer wants to be the mother and the baby, okay? The baby and the mother. But first, it wants to see how you can baby it before it mothers you, Which is another thing here in this placement. A lot of the times, you guys will mother people hoping that, you make them your baby, you mother them, hoping that they understand that, you also would like it back too, like an even exchange, scratch your back, you scratch mine. You guys are very fair in that way. I do feel like that's why the 6 and the 9 do that. It's also a balanced sign for me. Gemini, Cancer, Libra have those sort of, and Pisces as well, where it's like the dualistic two things, you know what I mean? Like something of two. So Cancer has that emotionally, okay? So it's like two-sided emotions. So it wants to be provided for, and it wants to be the provider at times, So this energy, some people don't really fully understand. Some people may be like, but we've always been this way. Why do you need it to switch up? You always are the one that does this, and your thing is like, of course, duh, I'm always the one, Sorry, there was like a little cut that was bothering me. You're like, duh, I'm always the one. That's the issue. And other people probably don't understand that this is how you operate. So it's good to understand that perhaps you should see who treats you like a baby before showing them that you can be a mother as well. Because I do feel like not everybody's willing to mother you, right? But a lot of people want to be babied. So you can mother. So you don't need to be out here mothering everyone hoping that they'll baby you back, because of I think that's like what this placement does here, I think. And so for you guys, it's like you have to pay attention to your exchange and who you're giving the motherly energy to, because it's addicting. People want to be around you for it, and people would suck your energy for it. So you may be surprised if you have a lot of friendships where the dynamic is you are the mother. You know what I mean? Like, you might be the mother of your friend group, right? Now, this also depends on your other placements, because perhaps you are the baby of the family, and by default you like to be babied, and maybe you love to be babied, and maybe you have to now understand, the importance of being able to baby someone else back, right? It's kind of like getting old and nurturing each other when sick. It's kind of that sort of understanding. Venus in Cancer, or Venus in the 4th house, wants to know if they're gonna be safe getting old with you. So they're gonna trial it out. Get it? So that's why it's occurring. That's why it's a concern. You have to understand that Cancer is the opposite spectrum of Capricorn, which is about building. So Cancer wants to build emotionally. Okay, so although Cancer may not want to build within, through third dimensional things, it wants to build with the more 5-dimensional things. Okay, the more, the things you can't see, the things that you feel. Okay, so Cancer is concerned with building that. So having Venus in the 4th house makes you almost have like a Venus in Cancer in a way, and then you add your sign to that mixture. So now let's get into the elements. So let's say you have Aries, Leo, or Sag and Venus in the 4th house. This could be it could be interesting because there's an impulsiveness here. Yet you love the home environment and comfort. So there's an impulse to maybe have your comfort. You have a lot of impulses to have comfort. So maybe you just really, need it now, and there's no seeing it otherwise. Like, I need it now, and maybe I can see how that can fuck you up a little bit, but it makes you such a vibe. You're like too much of a vibe that, like, for your own good type of shit. You know what I mean? Like, you're so much of a vibe because the thing is, think about this, right? If you're an individual concerned with comfort, you kind of provide comfort in your surrounding because you will accept nothing less, right? So your environment is perhaps very comfortable, or you make sure that there's comfort around, making it so that people around you feel comfortable as well. So you're not doing nothing wrong, I think, at all. I think you may have a lot of vices that can get the best of you with this placement, because the impulses, like, I want that cigarette right now, I want that blunt right now, I want that drink, that shot right now. Oh, nobody's stopping me? Boop. So y'all fun. You guys are fun. But you could sometimes not make the best decisions because of what you desire in the moment and what you want and love, especially in your home environment. So this is a placement where you can be prone to addiction at home. Okay, so it's not the best mixture for that. So you in order to avoid that, try not to be home as much so that maybe you don't run into your comforts as often, right? I would say working remote would be ideal if you don't have a substance abuse problem. Okay, I'll say that's a thing there, and if you have a substance abuse problem, but you have to work remote, go on vacation maybe, but that's gonna make you drink. But just be outside. Go to a cafe and do your work. Maybe let yourself feel a little embarrassed to reach for your vices so often in order to keep yourself in check. Okay, you're gonna have to do things like this because listen, we're human, and with these placements here, we're not supposed to fight with who we are. We're supposed to work with it. Okay, so you can't act like, no, I don't do that. If you know, you do. If you don't, then you don't. This is a general reading, assessment. So I do feel like, fire in this house can be a little impulsive and free, right? Very free and fun. I'm telling you guys are fun in this. Like, at home, oh my God, you guys throw the best house parties. I bet you guys throw the best house parties. You guys are the ones getting the barbecue started. You probably are the first ones, got the meat ready. No one got to bring nothing but themselves. Like, you have that energy. You guys are a great host. Now, you guys might love doing this too much to the point that perhaps, like, you get carried away. Damn, mosquito. You guys probably get carried away with, I gotta kill that bitch. She gonna suck on me. Anyway, you guys might get carried away with so much fun at home, okay? So that's one thing. Now I don't want to sum up, like, I'm summing up all the elements because of the gist of it. Now, when I break down, like, just briefly, Aries is going to be the most impulsive. Leo is going to be the most prideful. And Sag is going to be the most optimistic, and perhaps easily tempered, okay? I would say all fire signs can be easily tempered, but I will say that Sag's optimism, if confronted with reality or logic, when they're not ready for it, it never pans out right. Okay, it won't ever pan out right because it's a dig to the ego a little bit. Like, you're killing my vibe. What? So it's like they're not really hearing you at that point, and you have to understand that it's an up energy. It's a fun energy. Fire is very, optimistic naturally. So fires are so optimistic that it gets itself into trouble. Okay, so you have to know what you're dealing with when dealing with a fiery Venus in the 4th. Okay, because it kind of resembles like a Scorpio energy because it's water and fire, Cancer, and whatever fire placement you have. Now let's get into the next element. So we have Air. So air. This was an interesting one. Okay, so air is going to be a lot more intellectual about love. It's going to assess and like mentally stimulating things at home. So this is the person always on YouTube, always learning something off of YouTube, always always listening to a TED Talk or a podcast. This is an individual that gets bored if the conversation isn't intellectually stimulating enough. Now, this person is actually a great. This is like a great. Okay, so Venus in the fourth period, you guys love to be home. You guys like to work at home. You guys just love everything home related because I think the essence of being home isn't that you want to isolate against the world, is that nothing's interrupting your flow. And that's the gist of it. It's not that you're anti, like it could be, some of you guys may be antisocial because of it, or not at all, right? So it really depends on you as an individual, because you could be out here in the streets all the time, but maybe you're taking a 3-day break at home because you know your energy is craving that, right? So you rather a staycation than a vacation because you get to perhaps catch up with yourself, and that means so much more than to take pictures and show it off to people. So you guys are brilliant, and you love to be, and you love brilliance around yourself. So I love this placement here. Do I have anything bad to say about this placement? I think perhaps maybe over intellectualizing what you love and your desires. And sometimes I'll say this with air and Venus. Like air can make you not want something that you wanted because you think you shouldn't have it, which is good in some cases. And in some cases it could feel like anti-living, like you're being too good, you're being too intellectual, or or you're intellectualizing too many emotions instead of feeling some, so don't get carried away with the over intellectualizing, because I know that you guys love what it delivers to you, the results that it brings to be intellectual and to assess things and come to conclusions and and have epiphanies and stuff like that. I think that's why you guys do it, but you have to understand that there needs to be a balance. And I don't say Libra, out of all the air signs, probably would understand that a little bit more in terms of the balancing of thinking. A Libra may balance the thinking a little bit more and realize, okay, I'm thinking too much. A Gemini may just keep thinking, so you may have to hear this. And Aquarius may also keep thinking like a Gemini. All three are very intellectual, but I would say Libra, it's balance in its intellect, and it also considers the superficial beauty side of things, right? Because it's balance. It understands everything can't just be one-sided, okay? So I think that's Libra's understanding here. So just to touch upon air here, what else about air and Venus in the fourth? You feel comforted by information. Information makes you feel like you're going somewhere, or you're progressing, perhaps. Maybe that's what it does. So I'm trying to understand, well, what would at home doing research do for you? It maybe makes you feel like you have an upper hand against the rest of the world when you come outside. Maybe it fuels your confidence. Maybe it's a confidence boost to be informative about things. Maybe you value that because you love intellect. So maybe perhaps that's what you cherish and value in this life. And that's something good to know, because perhaps you want to attract a partner who's just the same way. 2 more elements to go. It sounds like water wanted to come through. Okay, so water. Water here is at home here. Okay, so water here can be so psychic. Okay, so this is like a very psychic placement to have Venus in the 4th house within water. So it's water on water. And you guys love the house, and it makes you feel so good. I mean, I say this for every element, but you guys really love it. It does something to you that it doesn't, other signs may never understand. It feels like your life force to be at home. You guys may have to operate out of being remote more than the other elements, perhaps, because I could see how it's okay, water on water is like extra slow moving, so you may be late a lot. Okay, so this is like because you love the house, and there's this thing you have to do, and wait, fuck, I have to water the plants, and oh, and next, 30 minutes late. But what the fuck? And then it's like you just don't know how to leave the house like naturally. It's just like you love the comfort to that point that you may not see that you're delaying certain things to get out of the house. So I can see how this could be an issue here, but the intuition that you have because of this is crazy. So, and then you love being home because you are so intuitive. This placement makes you like extra intuitive that you want to be isolated so you could just hear what your intuition is telling you and not the noise outside. Like you just kind of want to give me a second. Like, and not a lot of people are going to understand that. Now, the passion here, you guys are very attached. Okay, so this is something that you need to assess your attachment with the home. So, to understand, you could love being home, you could love a lot of things, but we cannot get attached to staying home only if it requires you to step out. Like, you may have social anxiety built up because of this placement and you honoring being home and perhaps not challenging a little bit because water on water is very attached, and emotions and feelings and comfort and it's just like the depths of water on water. It's like, let's go, let's swim really deep. That's what I picture. Now, last but not least, Earth. So Earth, Venus here is gonna want someone to build with, wants to build from home. So Venus, Earth. In the fourth is a great placement. I think it's like an oxymoron a little bit, but not really. The way I say it is because Earth and water are like opposites. And because of that, it's like the grounding that the fourth house needs, the Earth energy provides. Okay, so Venus loves being home, but the Earth energy is going to take initiative to tell you, girl, boy, come on, let's go, get up, go to work, or get that thing done, go to the gym. And then, damn, little bugs. And then what else about the Earth? It wants to build from home, okay, for sure. So this is a person that can work remote, that will hold themselves accountable working at home, will make things happen working at home. This person loves to work behind the scenes, and you don't know what the fuck they're doing, but when they're done, it's there. And with this placement, I'll say this. You have to be very careful with dark forces behind the scenes intervening with your plans. So don't speak on them. You may enjoy speaking on them because it motivates you, you love to build. So being at home talking about it maybe makes you feel good, or being at home and assessing it maybe makes you feel good. But just keep it to yourself and keep on building. Keep on building, and then let people see it for themselves. Because I do feel like this Venus in this fourth is very sensitive to the outside interference. So you do not want too much outside inputs when you're operating off of things that you love. Because understand this life is for everyone, and there's so many experiences we all can have. We don't need to have all of them. We don't have time to have all of them. So you decide which experiences that you want to have in this life. And no one could tell you otherwise. Okay? Alright, I love you. My name is Gawd. And you're watching Gawd Cafe.